Right. This is video number 1 of my speaking marathon series where I'm going to speak as articulately and precisely as possible without using any filler words, without having any awkward pauses, and being able to string clear and coherent sentences together. The goal of this is to push myself and make it as hard as possible to be able to improve my speaking. Now, I was watching a video by a gentleman named Tom. He was going over how there are different domains, right? There's different areas of life in which we can improve. There's health and fitness, there's communication and speaking, there's finance and skills. There's different domains. And if we view it from this perspective, how different domains influence different parts of our lives, we can then attack them with a precise and calculated plan to improve in these different domains. The reason why I think communication should be the first, the reason why I think communication skills and speaking in general should be the number 2 domain that we should conquer and improve upon is because it involves and affects so many other different domains in our lives. Communication is everywhere. We communicate with people when we're speaking, when we're checking out groceries, when we're doing a business deal, when we're explaining why somebody should work with us, when we're on a date and we're trying to sell our offer, because ultimately, when it comes down to it, we're human beings and we operate from the mindset of how can this benefit my life? What's the best I can do in terms of partners, in terms of businesses, in terms of lifestyle, all of these different things. So, communication is the number 2 domain in which we should improve upon. The number 1 domain, just in case you're curious, is of course our well-being, our physical well-being, our fitness, our strength. That needs to be there, because if we don't have that, we can't do anything. If we don't have our health, everything else is obsolete, has no meaning. So you got to get your health in order. Second thing is, we need to be able to speak. And then this is an exercise I'm doing right now to help me become a better speaker, because all the pressure is on me. I'm speaking to somebody, I'm speaking to a camera. If I was speaking with somebody, or if I was interacting in a group conversation, we could bounce off. There would be times where random pauses of silence would be appropriate and would feel natural. However, when it's me speaking to a camera, I don't have any backup to lean on. It's just me doing 100% of the work, 100% of the speaking, which means my mind has to be coming up with sentences rapidly, being able to fire off sentences. I need to have like 5 or 6 sentences backed up in my mind, ready to go, so that there's no awkward pauses that come up. One of the exercises that you can do to get started before turning the camera on is, of course, listening to articulate speech, listening to audiobooks, listening to podcasts, whatever, just so you can acquire new words. Now, they don't have to be fancy words, they don't have to be extremely, expressive, extremely, flamboyant, medieval words. They just have to be words that have meaning, words that carry power, simple words. Simple 4 or 5 letter words can carry tremendous amount of weight and power. Of course, it's how you deliver it, it's how we speak. That's a different area, a micro domain inside of the big domain of communication and speaking. But if we at least find 5 words. Find 5 new words daily. Write them down in your notepad. You're listening to something. Ooh, I like this word. Go to your notepads in your app. Write down the word. Write down the definition if you don't already know the definition for the word. And then what you're going to do is you're going to construct 5 example uses of that word. What I like to do is I like to use frameworks, because this is an additional step to help construct my thinking and my ability to be articulate. Some of the frameworks you can use are PREP, which is PREP, which stands for point, reason, example, point. There, that 4-letter framework gives you structure to your thoughts, and it gives you structure to your sentence creation. You can also use a simpler framework like PEP, point, example, point. And just write 5 of these framework sentences with the new word that you just learned. We have to practice implementing and bringing that new word into our common vernacular. What writing does is writing helps us think more clearly. It helps us construct our thoughts more articulately, and it also helps us become more descriptive, more accurate with our words, because we have many more tools to utilize to make a point. We can say something's warm, we can say something's hot, we can say something is piping hot, we can say something is steaming hot, we can say something is, whatever. That wasn't the greatest example because I couldn't come up with different words that were more accurate. But the point is, the more words we learn and know, the more we have in our arsenal to deploy to become more descriptive. And the more descriptive we can be, the more articulate we are as human beings. So first step, find new words. Once we get these new words, we need to implement them via writing. Start creating sentences. Over time, what you'll realize is that words and sentences will start to form themselves and be more available to you when you speak, because you'll have that built up that muscle of constructing sentences, and they'll be there. They'll be more coming up off the top, ready to go, instead of having to dig for certain words or having to work extra hard to come up with a sentence. If we practice building sentences every day, that's a muscle that's going to be very well sharpened, very well honed to be able to use. So we've written our sentences. The next step is going to be working on our voice. Now, as Vin Jiang, he's a communication expert, explains, our voice is an instrument. We can change our voice by going up into high registers if we want, or we can go down into low registers if we want. We can speak with a certain volume, but if we need to speak with a loud volume, and we need to make sure that when we speak with a loud volume, that we're not coming across as angry, then all we need to do is perhaps modulate our melody so that now, of course, I'm speaking with a louder volume, but I'm not coming across as angry because I'm modulating my melody. Or you can come across as very timid if you want to speak with less volume. You can also utilize pauses between our words so we know what we're going to say clearly and without any question. There's also tonality. Tonality is the emotions behind what we're saying. If we're saying something like this might come across as a way of consoling something. If we're saying something like this, then it might come across as a question. All these little different nuances of how we say what we're trying to say, how we deliver it, are important. And that can be worked on by working on how our voice sounds. Do we articulate? Do we pronounce our words with precision? Do we have the ability to go loud all of a sudden if we need to get our point across and to project to a room if we're way at the back? Do we have the ability to go way up high in our register if we need to go up high? And make sure that people don't lose their attention, because if we sound the same and we speak in the same tone all the time, see what I did there? Even there it was hard, but if we stay in this tone all the time, we become very boring to listen to, and nobody's going to want to listen to us. But if we make our speech a more melodic melody, and we play our vocal instrument, that's why certain people can sing very well and other people can't. It's because they've honed their vocal instrument. So 10 minutes of doing different exercises to improve our vocal instrument. Now I'm going to share a few of the ones I do daily. It's not going to turn you into a fucking opera singer, but what it will do is it will help you become better, more acquainted with the muscle memories required to have a good sounding voice. One of them is lip trills. Start low, go high, come back down. Another one is yawning. This helps us feel what is required for that soft palate to go up, which allows us to project without straining our vocal cords. So, and that's that feeling that you're going to go for. So do that a few times, and then immediately speak with a certain amount of volume that you're trying to get to, while also maintaining that lift in the soft palate so that you don't strain your voice. Also, start in a lower register, and you can do this by counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Just go up to 20, up to 30, going up and down, understanding what it feels like to vary our melody. Another exercise I like to do is practice my power. So I'll go down into a lower register of my voice and I'll count to 20. Extremely intense and loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then from there, I will immediately project as though I'm trying to speak across a highway to somebody. Same thing, counting to 20. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You get the point. I've already done this, and I don't want to strain my voice. Another thing you can do, if you find yourself, this is something I found, I speak more at the back of my mouth or somewhere around my throat area. If you want to bring that sound of your voice more to the front, you can do some humming variations. So like this. So first start with a hum. And then go with the V. Then try the letter M, humming on M. Ma, ma. You should feel your mouth vibrating as well as your nose vibrating. Those are some of the exercises that I do. I like to finish with some tongue twisters. She sells seashells by the seashore. She sells seashells by the seashore. She sells seashells by the seashore. Unique New York. Unique New York. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Always push yourself. Start slow and then go as fast as you can. Try 3 sets. 3 sets of each tongue twister. All in all, this vocal exercise to strengthen and improve the quality and sound of your voice should take no more than 5 minutes. After that, turn the camera on every single day. Do what I'm doing right now, which is speaking to camera without any filler words, with the most clean and articulate speech possible, and being as engaging and educational as possible. Share something, share a story, share something you've learned, and try to keep going as long as you can. Try to have the video be as long as possible with as few mistakes as possible. What you're going to do the next day is you're going to review it. You're going to listen to the sound of your voice. Then you're going to go back to the beginning. You're going to watch yourself with volume off. You're going to see what you look like, how your facial expressions work, how your body language is. And then you're going to upload it to YouTube. You can upload it privately. And you're going to click on the transcript. You're going to go and you're going to copy and paste that transcript. You're going to go to ChatGPT. You're going to ask Chat, please write this text with accurate and clear punctuation while still leaving in all filler words. And it's going to give you a transcript. You're going to read through it line by line. You're going to highlight and bring to your attention and your awareness any filler words you used, any words that you do not like that come up often. Sometimes, for me, I use the word so. Too often, I use the word and. Too often, I use the word alrighty. Too often, I use different words that aren't very strong, they don't carry a lot of power, and I'm trying to rid them of my speech. So we record so that the next day we can review our previous day's recording and improve and bring to awareness. It's all practice. All it takes is practice. I would say if you can devote an hour a day to becoming a better speaker and communicator, it will improve your life in so many ways. Now, how do I divide this hour into different areas? The first 20 minutes are going to be writing, practicing using words and constructing articulate sentences, and you can use some of the frameworks I shared in the beginning of this video. The second part is going to be that 5-minute warming up your voice, strengthening your voice, working on the actual sound of your instrument. And thirdly, you're going to open up the iPhone app, the camera app. You're going to turn it towards you. You're going to press play, and you're just going to go. You're going to go as long as you can, as well as you can. And the fourth and final step happens the day after, when we review our previous day's recording and we analyze it and see what we can do to improve upon it. That's the 4-step process. 20 minutes of writing, 5 minutes of vocal exercises. As long as you can on a camera, that could be 5 minutes at start. But of course, you build up over time. Ultimately, maybe you're doing 20 minutes a day of engaging communication to the camera. So what is that? That's 45 minutes. And then the last 15 minutes, you're going to review and analyze the previous day's recordings. Give yourself an hour every day. Promise you it will be worth it.